Well, we're continuing to talk about parts of the liturgy, and today what I want to talk about is washing. Before the priest goes up to the altar, quite often there is a kind of washing that happens. In our modern kind of germ-obsessed world, we use hand sanitizer, and so that will often be a part of the washing. But there's also a more symbolic washing. There's a little bowl and water that is the server will often pour that over the priest's hands, and the priest will wash his or her hands and then dry them with a cloth, sort of a little towel that the server has on their arm. And the reason for doing this is it's a symbolic washing. The priests in the Old Testament would often have this symbolic washing as well. And we want to recognize that we are in continuity with an ancient tradition. And so we do this symbolically to recognize that we cannot come to God sort of on our own without needing to be cleansed in some way. It's a symbolic washing that reminds the priests that they need purity of heart to be able to approach God. That this is a bold thing that they are doing. So they're about to enter into this sacred moment, approaching God, approaching communion with God. In the Old Testament, this was a dangerous thing. So the priest is standing at the altar table, which symbolizes the Holy of Holies in the ancient temple, which the high priest was only allowed to enter once a year at Yom Kippur. And there's an old story about the priest having to have a rope tied to his ankle as he went into the Holy of Holies, because if suddenly, it's almost like the holiness was like radioactive. And so if the priest made a mistake and offended that holiness, there's a chance that priest could die. And then if you're only one person is allowed once a year to go in, how would they get this body out of the Holy of Holies? And so they had to sort of tie a rope to their ankle so they could drag them out. And so we are in continuity with this kind of a tradition. We know that we are now, because of Christ, that curtain has been torn between us and the Holy of Holies. So we are bold to enter that space because of what Christ has done. But we also recognize that we need washing. We need purity of heart to be able to walk into this place. And so the priests, as they enter into this sacred moment, they might pray, "Lord, cleanse my hands in innocence that I may approach your altar with boldness." And this is inspired by Psalm 26, verse 6. So the priest washes his hands, recognizing that it's only God's grace and forgiveness that can prepare them for what is about to take place. "Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity, cleanse me from my sin," Psalm 51, verse 2 says. So we wash ourselves praying that God will purify us so that we can be able to do what we're about to do. Recognize that only Christ can make us worthy of what we're about to do. We're not really, as much as we're concerned about making sure that germs stay away from what we're about to eat, we're concerned about that, but we're primarily concerned about the purity and cleanliness of our hearts as we come to the table. We don't want to get in the way. We want to be able to pray these prayers with purity. We want to be able to offer this communion to God's people without getting in the way of that. We want to allow this symbol to point to Christ and not to us. So the washing is an important and small piece, a piece that's often not even recognized by the congregation. But it's very important for the clergy. They often are praying and whispering to themselves these prayers, recognizing that I need to be cleansed so that I can do this for you, Lord. I need to be cleansed so I can do this for your people, Lord. So next time when we're in worship, notice that small little detail of the priest washing their hands, praying for purity of heart, so that we dare do this thing that we're about to do. Amen.